Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I don't know who needs to hear this, but DC just announced that they're going to do Knightfall Part 1. So the comic book that Chuck Dixon wrote, Introduction of Bane, is supposed to be a movie. Now I don't know which animation style they're going to use because, you know, it's DC. So y'all already know how that is. Y'all already know how I feel about this dumb shit. You know what I mean? Because the latest adaptations of iconic Batman storylines, they've been merging post-crisis, New 52, and Damian Wayne into shit. And that's the shit I don't want to see. I don't want to see that bullshit. So, if you guys don't know, Knightfall is very important to the Bat family. So, you know, Batman got beaten by Bane. Bane figured out Batman's secret identity. He tired Batman out, and after Batman fought alone and got all the criminals, and he was exhausted on the edge of tired, Bane comes to the Wayne Manor, and he breaks the bat. Now, of course, at the time, Batman was also working with a guy, you know, from the St. Dumas Church called Azrael. John Paul Valley. Now, John Paul Valley is a guy who's been mentally, you know, emotional through the church and stuff like that. So he's breaking free of that kind of stuff a little bit. But, you know, Batman thought that he'll be a good enough representation to be Batman instead of Dick Grayson at the time, who rejected being Batman, of course. Now, at the same time, you also have Tim Drake also coming back from his training, being a full-fledged Robin. Now, if you already know, y'all already know how they fucked up Hush. Y'all already know how they fucked up the Judatis contract, right? Now, if you guys don't know, they've been putting Damian Wayne in positions that Tim Drake is supposed to be in. So, Tim Drake, Robin, is very important to the early, I would say, the mid-'80s to the 2000s, all the way up until 2010. He's been a very important character and a very important Robin. Now, a lot of times, a lot of people like to confuse that, and by saying he's like the boring, but he's not the boringest Robin. The Robin that really doesn't have much to go on is actually Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne doesn't really have much to go on besides being the son of Batman. But a lot of major Robin storylines come from Tim Drake, not Dick Grayson, definitely not Jason Todd. I'm sorry to tell you this. I know a lot of y'all this shit was, but it's not. And that's just the truth you're going to have to realize. So, if you guys don't know about that, the reason why I'm concerned is because of the fact that they've been pushing Damian Wayne over Tim Drake for a long time. And what I'm not about to have is this whole notion of, oh yeah, we have to also have Damian Wayne in the storyline. That makes no sense because there was supposed to be a movie about Batman, and No Man's Land. So you guys don't know, No Man's Land is supposed to be about when Gotham City got an earthquake, and it destroyed the city to the point where the United States government abandoned Gotham City, and it was really called No Man's Land for a reason. Now, it got canceled, and it's supposed to introduce Sandra Cain as Batman, but it also had Damian Wayne Robin instead of Tim Drake Robin, and it's just like, absolutely the fuck not, no. Just like Barbara Gordon, Batgirl showing up in Hush, when it was really Helena Bertinelli Hushers that showed up in Hush. Like, she's on promotional material, not Barbara Gordon, and Barbara Gordon was horrible. So again, you see what I'm saying about this whole bullshit where they're trying to go back and retroactively add shit that's not supposed to be there. And it's to the point where these adaptations really aren't that great because you're adding shit that nobody asked you to. You get what I'm saying? Nobody asked for that. I didn't ask for that. Did you ask for that? No. And that's my concern with the movie, is that we're going to have this movie about Bane and Batman and the breaking of that. And it's going to fundamentally change where I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Wayne, Hugh Thomas, Kate Kane is in there instead of Tim Drake, Robin, and instead of Dick Grayson. Like, they might add Dick Grayson. That's the saving grace, maybe. But Tim Drake might not be there, or if they do add Tim Drake, they're going to add some gay storyline. And at the time, Tim Drake was straight. And guess who wrote most of Tim Drake's solo films? Oh, Chuck Dixon, the person who also wrote Knightfall. And that's what I'm saying, like DC. And the pettiness, they'll make changes where the fans are complaining and then get confused, like why people aren't buying or supporting it. And another thing too is that, once again, it's another fucking Batman story. You mean tell me, out of all the DC stuff, we're still doing Batman? So you mean tell me you couldn't do another Wonder Woman story? You couldn't do another Superman story? You couldn't do another Green Lantern story? And I don't want to hear, oh, they're just not interested. They are. You just don't promote them enough. Like the fact that Harley Quinn's whole ass got an animated series before Wonder Woman is crazy. Whether it's or not, Wonder Woman should have had an animated show. Like while you was doing Justice League, after the first season of Justice League, guess what? You do a fucking Wonder Woman, the animated series. Like, it's not that hard. I don't understand why people act like you can't do it, or it's not possible. That way we could have got Wonder Girl, we could have got Donna Troy, we could have got Nubia. You know what I'm saying? We could have saw more of the first season. Of course, it's going to be focused on Diana on her own. Then season 2, you start adding maybe Donna Troy. Then after that, you do season 3, where you add Cassie Sandsmark, Nubia, Artemis. Like you do what you did with Batman animated series. You need to, and it's long overdue. I don't care what nobody say. The DC AU, Bruce Timm style needs to come back, and you need to bring back Wonder Woman, the animated series. But it has to look exactly like the style from Justice League Unlimited. I don't want to see the Rebirth outfit on. I don't want to see the New 52 outfit on. I want to see the classic Wonder Woman costume that we all know. That's what I want to see. Now, you can make some upgrades to that costume if you need to, but it cannot look like the New 52, and it cannot look like Rebirth. That's what needs to happen. And again, you mean tell me you couldn't do Wonder Woman A League of Her Own, where she takes down the entire Justice League team so she can fight a mythical creature all by herself, because it was prophesied that the Justice League members are supposed to die except for her? No, we don't want to talk. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about Wonder Woman: The War of Gods, where she takes on the new gods and fights with Darkseid. You don't want to talk about that one. You don't want to talk about Wonder Woman Hecate, where a criminal from Gotham City comes in contact with Wonder Woman and called Hecate, and Batman's in hot pursuit of her, but Wonder Woman will not let this girl get hurt because of Hecate. Like, hello, you mean tell me that's not interesting? You know what I'm saying? Or the meaning of Cassie Sandsmark Wonder Woman. You get what I'm saying? Like, what about that? Or, you know, the Silver Swan song. No? We're not going to talk about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to see more Wonder Woman shit. And we need to see more Superman stuff too. Like, you can tell me, you don't want to talk about Supergirl power. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to talk about Superman at World's End. You don't want to talk about the Krypton War. You get what I'm saying? The War of Superman. You know what I mean? You don't want to talk about that. Or, you know, like, y'all got to do something. Y'all got to give me a little bit of something. You know? Superman for all seasons. I mean, that would be nice. You know what I'm saying? Green Lantern, the first couple of issues of the Kyle Rayner saga, where he meets Major Force, and yes, the whole fridging of his girlfriend thing. That would be nice to see Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? Or John Stewart Mosaic. That way you can actually tell a better version of the story and simplify it. How about that? have Jon Stewart deal with having a collision of all of these alien planets put into a place, and Jon Stewart got to figure out what's going on and who's trying to set him up. You know what I'm saying? How about that? You know? Or Flash, what was it? Maximum Velocity, I believe is the name of the storyline. That would really be cool. You know what I'm saying? Or the story of the Flash storyline where Wally West discovers the Speed Force, like actually break through the Speed Force and finally put to rest his anguish of not being able to live up to his uncle Barry Allen. How about that? Or how about Martian Manhunter dealing with his brother Valentine and the White Martian, trying to set Martian Manhunter up by making it seem like Martian Manhunter has lost it, but it's really his brother. How about that? That'd be nice to have a Martian Manhunter solo movie. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Or what about Hawk World? A Hawkman and Hawkwoman storyline. That would be really fun. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to be saying this shit, but I already know I'm gonna have to, because a lot of people always talk about, oh, Batman's just more interesting. Well, of course Batman's gonna be interesting because they put time and effort into him. They don't put time and effort into the other heroes. You know what I'm saying? You can't complain if they don't put time and effort, and you can't complain if half of y'all won't even go and read their books. Like, I'm still trying to convince people that Wonder Woman's a great character, and I got Tom King writing Wonder Woman books. I got all these female writers writing Wonder Woman, and it's been trash on trash. The only thing that's really good is Absolute Wonder Woman. I don't know what to tell y'all. I mean, the fact that this is happening lets you know something. You know what I mean? Or could you imagine, how they decided that they want to do, what was that thing called? You know how they said they want to do the whole, what's the thing called? They did the Aztec Battle. Now, how come we can't do Stan Lee's Just Imagine one? Or there's Wonder Woman Victoria, where she kind of becomes like a little Victorian slave. I think she has 2 children, and she's like some kind of circus freak in Victoria, London, and then she breaks away from that to save the world or something like that. I cannot remember the name of the damn thing. Look, it's been a lot of DC books I've read. Give me a break that I don't know every damn title or every storyline stuff. I'm trying my best here. Give me a break. Or what about Supergirl Hell on Earth? Not hell on Earth, but Hell on Earth, where it's Matrix Supergirl facing off with angels and demons. Yes, there was a Supergirl, the Matrix, after they retconned Kara Zor-El out of the continuity, that we had this Supergirl, and she would become the Earthborn Angel, where she would have fiery wings or whatever. Wouldn't that be great to see that Supergirl? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, you can always think, but, why don't we try something different? You know what I'm saying? It's all about optics. So, like I said, it's all about optics. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the optics of the movie. And I'm sorry I kind of went on a little tangent, but I have to be worried because the past couple of adaptations where it wasn't adaptation, I've been worried because they keep adding elements from the New 52 and they're adding characters that was never there, to the point where when people going back and read comic books, they're like, oh, this character wasn't here, oh, this didn't happen, and then a lot of the fans of the comic books be like, damn, like, and don't be wrong, adaptations is supposed to be a good thing, but when you add that to the point where you're ad-libbing shit, where you're adding characters that don't need to be there, when you're putting in events that never happened in the book, you're not doing an adaptation at all. You're doing an alternate take, and that becomes the problem. There's a reason why Under the Red Hood is memorable. It is an adaptation done well because yes, it took some liberties with some of the stuff, but it wasn't unrecognizable to the point where people didn't. When people picked up the Under the Red Hood comic, they were like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like Killing Joke. Killing Joke. The first the first almost 30 something minutes, where Bruce Timm is allowed to have his little nasty ass fetish of Batman and Batgirl. That shit never happened in the movie. I mean, in the comic book. So why did you put it in there? It didn't help nobody. Everybody was pissed the fuck off. You get what I'm saying? It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? All-Star Superman adaptation, and they removed some shit out of there that slowed the pacing down. But it made sense. Actually, I think the animated movie is better than the comic book because of that. You get what I'm saying? Batman, Superman, Supergirl. You get what I'm saying? Like, that would be really cool. You know? That's how, that could work. Something, hold on. So, I mean, I'm just saying overall, I'm just saying as adaptations, you want to adapt correctly. I'm not saying you gotta do everything correctly, but you gotta make it, do something. Let's stop doing stuff and adding shit that don't make any sense to the point where the fans are gonna get mad. You know what I mean? Yes, mother. I just got on there. I'm about to finish. I know what time it is. They about to close. Thank you. I'm just saying, when you're doing adaptations, be faithful to the material. Yes, make some changes, add some things, but not to the point where every time y'all movies come out, everybody's having major criticism, and then your recent outings been buku trash because of the nonsense. And then y'all always want to take Batman stories that people actually want to see adapted and then add Damian Wayne or take away characters, ignore essential characters like Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon as Oracle. You know what I'm saying? And it gets kind of tiring, honestly. People want to see these characters done correctly, or a character's costume is completely different than what they wore in the comic book. Nobody wants to see changes like that. They want to see the comic book be adapted to the screen. Do that. That's all I'm saying. This isn't a movie for theatrical release. We're talking about a movie that's going to go on streaming services and DVD stuff. Adapt correctly. Go back to what made DC animated movies good. But those are my thoughts. Tell me what you think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, everybody, because I got to go.